Okay guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're looking at this, which I acquired from someone else secondhand. Again, as you know, most of my things I purchase as secondhand. This is the new Staccato range, the 2011 range. We've had Staccatos available in Airsoft for a little while, mainly through the Army Armament sort of brand. They've not been officially licensed, so some of them come with some naughty trades. And obviously there've been Nova kits for high cappers available for a while. Also just realised this is actually the first high capper I'm having on the channel, which is weird considering it's such a popular brand of pistol. And I actually have quite a few high cappers, but they don't interest me as much as my Glocks do, even though I do still find them interesting. Just prefer my Glocks or that type of pistol. Anyway, let's stop waffling. Let's have a quick look at what we've got then. So this is the Staccato. I've actually gone for the C2 model here. So let's open the box. And here we go. This is how it comes. Well, this is how this one came. Whether or not yours comes exactly the same as this, I don't know. So we've got our magazine. In here we've got some sort of oil or something. Now, this magazine looks like your standard style high capper affair. But one thing that I do really like is the fill valve is at the top here. Very VFC. However, I'm going to go out on a whim here and say this is not a VFC mag. I think they've just borrowed the idea. And also, you know, we've said about the Army Armaments already. Now, the OEM of this pistol is a bit of a mystery at the moment because it says on the box here, OEM by whoever that is. I don't know. This box, though, it's an EMG product. And this sort of thing reminds me a lot of an Armour Works. However, we're not seeing the classic Armour Works red gas router. So who the OEM is, I don't know. If I found out before I release this video, I will put it on the screen so you can see who it is. If I'm wrong, please do correct me. Anyway, we'll get the magazine out. So let's get the pistol out. In the box, we have got our card here, which says it's officially licensed with the hologram on it. And on the back here, this will be your owner's manual, so we can register it if we want to. And we've also got a cover plate here. Now, this pleases me because I'm not, as you've probably realised with a lot of my pistols, I'm not really that into RMRs on pistols. So this does have an RMR plate, and I'm going to get an RMR and slap one on there at some point. However, I do get a bit annoyed when I don't have any option. So I do really like being able to change that over so I can just have a normal topper part of the slide. That, I think, is a great idea. All right, let's pop that box over one side. And let's just go through what we've got then. Let's complete that picture with the magazine in. Yeah, so I'm not going to go into who Staccato are, but we've seen a lot of Staccato recently, and basically their main sort of range, if you like, are these 2011, effectively high capacity 1911s. We obviously know the high capper in Airsoft, which is actually a completely fictional pistol. Toki Mori created the high capper, having drawn inspiration from the 2011, which was effectively, it was a double stack magazine converted 1911, and then gradually they've started to evolve into what we see now. Effectively, it's a race pistol. It's designed for competition use. But But we are seeing a lot of these apparently being used in law enforcement in the States. So it's something that is becoming more of a combat style pistol. Now, let's just have a look at what we've got here at the moment then. So we've got this really nice, being the C2, the shorter slide. I think it's the 4.3 or the 3.9 size, which I really, really like. We've got the complete black pistol here. Now, the EMG staccatos, from what I understand of what I've seen or read, they do come in a few different flavours. The top of the range one being a CNC'd aluminium slide, whereas I believe this is just the standard cast slide, and it's a painted finish. The lower is actually in a real nice sort of, I don't think it's painted, I think it is sort of like anodized, whereas the slide itself is definitely painted. And we can see we've got a little bit of wear on the front here. So on here, trades-wise, we've got our 2011 badge in the front here. Underneath, we've got Staccato and Georgetown, Texas, USA, which obviously is their headquarters. On this side, we've got USA flag, which weirdly on Staccatos, I think I'm right in saying that that flag is the wrong way around. I might be being really stupid by saying that, but I'm pretty sure it is. But let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. We've got our EMG serial number here, which, as far as I'm aware, that serial number is correct. It is a serial number specific to this pistol. And then we've got Staccato C2 with the Staccato emblem on the front here of the frame. So notice no kind of identifiable marks on the slide whatsoever. It's all on the frame. We've got 9x19 on the outer barrel here. These double stack 1911s are normally 9mm. And we can also see on the grip here, it's got the Staccato logo in here. And this nice sort of grip texture, which if anyone's had one of the Nova grips before, you'll recognise because it's the same kind of setup. You've got this nice little sort of finger groove in the front here. There are lots of little cuts and everything to make this really comfortable to shoot and hold. On the magazine, we've also got on the bottom the Staccato or STI emblem here, which again, I think from, if I'm correct, looks like a outline of Texas. And what else have we got on here then? So obviously we've got a polymer grip on a metal frame, polymer trigger guard obviously. We have some metal screws. We've got a alloy, I believe, magazine release, alloy slide catch, alloy safety levers. We've got an alloy grip safety. And I believe the trigger and, sorry, the hammer is actually alloy here. I don't think it's steel. We can see there's some marring in the end here already, so I believe it is aluminium, not, or an alloy, not actually steel. That trigger is lovely. On the top of the slide, like I said, we've got this RMR plate and we've got the high-rise sights here. The reason why we've got the high-rise sights is so that if we are running an RMR, you can co-witness and be able to see through here. Now, if you really like your RMRs, that's great. I'm not such a fan of RMRs, so it does mean that you're then stuck with these hideously high sights. So I might do something about that in future and change these for some low-profile sights if I don't run an RMR, which I might do, I might not, we'll see. So let's have a quick look inside then and see what we've got. So let's take the magazine out, rack the slide. Now, on any 1911, 2011, the idea is you need to rack the slide back until you see this small half moon cut out in the slide. Rack it back until that lines up with the slide stop. Then you can push the slide stop out and it will be able to be removed from there. You can remove the slide stop. It looks like it has a steel insert, but it's definitely not steel. Then we can slide the slide off. In here is, as far as I can tell, your standard 1911 or high capper setup. Extra screws though, which I haven't seen on many. Let's just take this down a little bit and see what else we've got. I've not had this apart yet, so quite a large recoil spring. Let's take the barrel out. Now, the outer barrel is just an aluminium barrel. Nothing really exciting to tell you about that. It is threaded at the end, which personally I despise. I hate having threads at the end here because it just doesn't do anything for any kind of realism. Hop unit, as far as we can tell, looks just like your standard style hop unit from a high capper. Nothing particularly interesting about hot rubber. It just looks like a standard hot rubber. And then outer barrel again is just a brass affair. So, you know, plenty of room for upgrades there if you do want to go down that route. However, the finish on the hop unit does look quite good. Much better than what you see with the Army armaments usually. But the standard hop adjustment is just on the side here, just like a standard high capper. The actual slide itself, again, this is not the CNC'd one from what I can tell. This does look like a normal cast affair. Nozzle has not a great return spring there, actually. That's really not great at all. We have a different style piston head here, which looks like it's almost an O-ring type. That nozzle is really bad. It's sticking really badly there. I suspect I'm going to have problems with this. Now, I didn't purchase it as a boneyard pistol, but who knows? We could have problems. One thing I do like with this so far, though, is we've got this faux firing pin in the back here. Now, manufacturers generally don't do this with 1911s, but I'm so pleased they have with this one. That adds an extra level of realism to it, which you don't get generally. So, other than that, the slide is fairly unremarkable. Obviously, we've got our RMR plate here, and we do also have that extra plate, which we can install if we want to, which will do away with the RMR, and that will just complete the slide being exactly like the normal slide. So again, really pleased I got that, because that's something I'm probably going to use at some point. So let's just put the slide back together. Now, one thing to note as well, this is a fixed outer barrel, so it's not a dropping type, which you do tend to get on Tokamarus. So they've obviously done their homework here because they are much more accurate not being dropping. So they've obviously decided that's the way to go. Got a couple of buffers here as well. Now, just noticed here actually, this looks a bit odd. Whether or not this is factory or not, I don't know. But we've got a washer on the end here. Now, that's very unusual. Usually the washer goes in here. Now, I did say I got this second hand. I'm going to go on a whim here and say that that should be there. There's no way that should be the other side of that. So I think someone's been messing with this at some point. Either way, let's put this back together anyway, so we can see what we get. There we go, that's good. And if we have a look at the lower, you can see this is fairly standard high capper stuff. Again, the OEM, difficult to say who it is. Could be based on a WE system, because it doesn't look like there's anything to identify it as anything else. Could be KJ Works, I guess. They tend to be a lot heavier though, KJ Works. Plus, they don't tend to anodise. They're normally painted. This definitely looks like an anodised frame. So, trigger, I must say, on this is very nice. You got a slight take up and a nice wall. You've got, like, you know, barely a I don't know, 0.5 mil of movement there on that trigger before. It's a light squeeze and then it breaks straight away. Let's just check that all of this is working correctly. So we've got 2 clicks to get the hammer back. That obviously will reset the sear, and then this will obviously drop the firing pin back inside, and that's working all fine, so all good with that. Safeties are all working fine as well. Grip safety seems to be correctly functioning, which is good to see. Realise you're out of frame there, sorry guys. And let's pop this back together then, and see what it shoots like. So we'll pull this back, drop our slide catch back in. Sometimes these are a pain. There we go. Now the only thing I will say from hand racking this is cocking the pistol back works fine. As you go to let it forwards, it hangs up. Now the reason why I can see it hangs up here is if we look on the blowback unit here, you can see that there's like a bit of a step here, which usually this is curved off. But for some reason, that's not the case on this one. And the hammer obviously sits a lot further back on this one than it does in others. So it's an interesting choice why they've done that. Personally, I wouldn't run it like that. I would file that off so it's a bit smoother. But I guess, you know, it seems to work okay at the moment. So we're going to stick with what they've done. Let's pop the magazine in. Let's see what it cycles like. Hello. Interesting. Okay, so I haven't got a really fast trigger finger. I mean, it's reasonable, but it's not that fast. This is going into auto. So I didn't buy this as a boneyard pistol, guys. I bought this as a legit working pistol with no faults. However, as always seems to be the way with me, it ends up boneyard. We've got issues. So I'm probably going to go away and do a little bit of research as to why this is happening. There are a few reasons why this can happen on high cappers. Again, this seems to have a few proprietary parts that are a bit different. So whether or not it's going to be the same, I'm not sure. I'm going to go speak to the seller because I've literally just unboxed this today. I had a quick nose at it earlier, and then I've jumped in front of the camera here and filmed this. So this is, this is a bit of a strange one. So what we'll do is we'll do our chrono test anyway. Again, you guys have been begging me to do chrono tests on all of these reviews so far, so I'm going to do that anyway. Now, it's worth bearing in mind I'm just using standard green gas here. So we'll get ourselves set up. Let's move this over a little bit there so you can see it. Got our backstop there. Okay. Let's turn the old chrono on. Now again, we're using 0.2 gram BBs, so 2 O's. Let's do 4. There we go. Okay. Let's see what we get then. We've got 271. We've got 2 there, which the first one was 274, I think. This one's 253. The last one was 265. So this auto bursting thing is not just something that's, you know, me being fast with the trigger. That is, and it's not bump firing either. That is, it's going into auto. If I'm honest with you, it kind of felt like it was binary triggering, which, if you're not sure what I'm on about with binary trigger, it's something that came out in the States a few years ago, and obviously we didn't have anything like this over here in the UK, but it was well documented on YouTube, and all of us, you know, UK guys that are interested in that kind of thing, we followed along with it as well. A binary trigger is basically where you pull the trigger to fire, and then as you release, it fires again. And it did feel like that. So I'm assuming we're going to have some issue with the sears in here. They could be really worn, which would be very surprising because the pistol doesn't look that old at all. We've got a tiny bit of wear on the front of the slide here, and a tiny bit on the back of the slide. A little bit on the safety there, but other than that, it's basically brand new. So, yeah, interesting one. So this review has now turned into a boneyard fix again. So, yeah, interesting. So anyway, guys, so like I said, the chrono reading we're getting at the moment is 0.65 joule, 265 FPS on a 2.0. So, you know, what you'd expect really for a pistol. And obviously things you could do to upgrade that would be, you know, a tighter bore out barrel. Obviously you could fit a different valve in to try and flow better, or maybe increase the high flow valve in here and maybe put the improved seal routers in here. Potentially that would help. So there are things you can do to increase FPS if you want to, but that's pretty acceptable for a pistol at the moment anyway. So okay guys, so I'm going to call that there for now, because the next video is going to be having a look at what's going on here. I'm going to go away and do a bit of research, see what the deal is, and maybe I've just got a dud. I'll speak to the previous owner, see if he knows anything about it as well, and then we'll go from there. So thanks for joining with me again, guys. Again, this was supposed to be a review, but already we've got issues again. So any questions, or if you know what's going on with this, let me know in the comments. Save me trawling the internet and finding out that way, or taking it apart and finding out. Let me know in the comments, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.